Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sound Waves, the podcast where we dive deep into with business builders, innovators, and operators. I'm Rob Petrosh, the founder of Sound Cove Labs in Greenwich, Connecticut. It's great to be with you today to talk AI and making it easy for business. We have a great one for you today. We have Kyle Boyden, the founder of Rainier Facility Solutions. He's joining us today. We're really excited to have him. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Doing great. Excited to be here, Rob. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. First off, we always like to start off, where are you in the world?
I am in Seattle, Washington, Pacific Northwest.
Amazing. How is the weather there right now?
It is Seattle, gray and wet.
All right. Well, no surprise there, but I totally understand as we get to the fall here in Connecticut. Anyway, it is, like I said, it's great to have you. Why don't you kick us off? Tell us a little bit about your company and why you started it.
Absolutely. So I actually acquired a number of businesses rather than starting, and I can kind of get into that a little bit later. But where we're at today is we are a $5 million commercial company. We offer janitorial services as well as any of the exterior cleaning. So we're doing roofs, gutters, pressure washing windows, and we also have a floor care division as well. So we can do the carpets, tile, grout, polish cement, strip and wax, kind of any of the floor care cleaning needs as well. And the idea behind all of this was it makes us more sticky. There's 1,200 janitorial companies just in the county that we're in currently. And to differentiate ourselves from everybody else that has a mop and a bucket was a vendor consolidation play. We come in with your main maintenance cleaning with the janitorial, and then we can offer all of your other cleaning services needs you need as well on top of that. And it's just a little bit of a value differentiator for us.
And are you all
we actually have so I'm with Rainier Facility Solutions, and then my business partner runs Rainier Cleaning Solutions, and that is the residential version of that. So that's, you can get your house cleaned, and then the exact same service as I was talking about for your house. So I'm all B2B, he's all B2C.
All right, great. When you started acquiring the businesses, and I guess actually that's a great point to kind of jump off on. What do you look for when you're looking it seems like you acquire to grow, correct?
It was, and what I was looking for was the cheat code. I thought, I can grow a $1 million business, a $10 million business, whatever, but it's going to take years on top of years on top of years on top of years. And if you look statistically at how many businesses start, and only 50% of businesses make it through year one, and only 10% of businesses make it through year five, and the cash flow constraints they run into, and the problem with labor, and just how freaking hard it is even to get set up on your Google business profile, and just insurance and all the moving parts. And by the time people are 5 years in, they've taken enough bullet holes from owning a business and enough disappointments that it's kind of just beat out of them, and they're exhausted. So the concept behind buying the businesses is we've let these owners do a lot of that hard stuff already to get to the $1 million revenue. And so we're coming in when there's already a platform in place. There's ideally a sales system in place. There's employees, like the bones of the business are already in place. And we're coming there with a new lens, new set of energy, maybe a better marketing and sales plan. We've got our automations and AI and processes and filters and funnels that we bring with us and throw on top of these companies. So I'm looking for companies that have tired owners. Maybe the company was booming prior to COVID, and COVID was the last kick in the butt for them, where they just don't have the energy to rebuild it again. There's a lot of people in particular in this industry that kind of thought they would pass it off to their kids. And now their kids are at Amazon making $200K a year, and they don't want to run their dad's stinky janitorial company. A lot of people, we do cold calls for these opportunities, just going right down Google. A lot of people didn't know they could sell their business. A lot of people don't want to sell their business today, and when I call them next month, the day after one of their key employees quit on them, all of a sudden they got a different song and dance about wanting to talk about it. So we're looking for companies where we can come in, add immediate value, and acquire the business on terms that make sense. We've acquired 8 cleaning companies now, and only one of them using a bank loan. All the other ones we were able to negotiate seller financing deals. Hey, how would you like it for the next 8 years? I can guarantee $4,000 a month in your bank account. I will put my house up as collateral if you need, whatever kind of protections you need on this loan. And we buy that company, we guarantee them that $4,000 a month. From day one, that company might be cash flowing $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $11,000. So
I
when
love
we're able to
I love
negotiate
this
that deal there.
approach.
Yeah.
Obviously, when the terms are right. I assume you have your due diligence down to a science, or
At this point, once upon a time was a freestyle, and we've made some pretty sketchy purchases that we had to kind of scratch our way out of, claw our way out of. But now we've got it down to pretty close to a science. Yeah.
now that you're growing and you're making these acquisitions, how do you define your target client between office, medical, retail, industrial? What's your approach there? Is there a better place to be for you, if you will?
Yep. So because we're able to offer all of the different cleaning services, obviously I want clients that I can quote unquote double dip on and sell all of our services to. So us going and pitching to these little tiny small office spaces that I don't really have a ton of unique value that I can bring there. So we're going after an auto dealership with 5 locations, a credit union with 11 local locations. It's anything with more moving parts, more decision makers, more locations in particular, where it's a true consolidation play. I might, if a car dealership had 10 locations, I might be able to replace 16 vendors across the 10 locations. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. So we go as high up the chain as we can, try to put a company-wide program in place, and then we're just so sticky, it's almost impossible for someone to come in and take one of the services from us. So it's banks, it's daycares, private schools, car dealerships. That's kind of the absolute bread and butter of what we do. And then of course warehouses, manufacturing, distributors. If you want to spend enough money, we'll for the most part service anybody. Trying to avoid restaurants and kind of like meat production facilities, stuff like that.
I feel I have a good idea, but I'd love to hear from you why avoid those.
Restaurants are a pain in the butt. It's a different style of cleaning. Typically not the best margins there as well. 7-day-a-week cleaning, which isn't always bad, but we're down to this point of even really picking the quality of labor. When is the clean? How far away is it from the next clean? How many people do we have to staff? We're, to a degree, intentionally, like I'll take an account that's doing $30,000 a month, but I'd really much rather that be spread out across a bunch of locations. The bringing on that really big account where I need to have 4 employees there 7 days a week is just, it creates a logistical nightmare. So we found our sweet spot. We really love between $1,000 and about $12,000 a month of spend. We're coming in below the ABM, so we're not competing with the big dogs, and so we can still keep a pretty healthy margin in those scenarios.
How do you balance growth with maintaining quality across multiple sites and crews?
I mean, that's the game right there. It is tough, and I'd like to think we're very good at what we do, but even with us, it's the ebb and flows. We grow too fast and incidentally break a little part of our company. So it's trying to keep a constant balance between quality and growth, right? So it's revisiting the training programs, revisiting the scheduling systems, revisiting the unbilled labor hours, just keeping a close eye on everything. And through business acquisition, one of the unknown is you don't really know what you're buying. So on paper, the business looks great. It might even be turning a decent profit, but once you get into it, it usually can take 2, 3, even 4 months before you're for the first time seeing this thing getting exposed. So right now, the janitorial company we bought 3 months ago, for the first 3 months, I thought this thing was humming along so nicely, and now it's under a bit of a rehaul on quite a bit of the key operational functions.
And when you look at those operations, scheduling, staffing, consistency of work, which we just talked about, client communication, where do you spend most of your time, or what's the hardest to keep up with out of those?
Yeah, because we have office managers, we've got a number of them with each of the entities. A lot of the client communication is kind of innately already covered. We're kind of starting at what's the thing we could work on that would have the biggest impact. So an example would be this particular company, the janitorial company we just inherited, has 30 W-2 cleaners. Any given night, 1 to 2 cleaners could call out, and a few days ago it was 1 cleaner called out, and it was 6 cleans that ended up needing to be rescheduled just to get everything covered. So the scheduler said it perfect. She's like, it quickly goes from scheduling to a dispatch job when someone calls out. And then like last night, 3 cleaners called out in one night, and it was irreparable damage. We could not reschedule all of it fast enough. So right now what we're working on is creating an on-call position. If we have 2 people on call for every single night, now I don't need to play musical cleaners. And our 2 ladies that are working on sales and operations both spent the entire day yesterday trying to help fill the schedule.
I feel like we probably could do a podcast about staffing and your industry. I'm sure it's got a lot of challenges. I guess on the positive side, What motivates your best employees to stay? What do you do as a company?
I found, I guess I didn't find, I listened to a study that pay on anyone making, I want to say the number was like under CK a year, pay was like the number 3 most important thing to them, which was extremely surprising to me. But it was a sense of growth and being appreciated. We're above pay. So for us, we're creating contests, both kind of competing with each other and then just competing against yourself, making sure people feel appreciated. Something as simple as dropping by with like a box of donuts. Like people are so incredibly thankful, and it costs $6. I mean, it's just paying attention. How would you want to be treated? Going out and meeting the cleaners, speaking with them directly, kind of just being able to understand their life a little bit better. I think just the communication goes really a long way.
Yeah, I love that. I've had past employers say things like compliments are free, and to a degree, although this one's a little dicier, but titles are free. There are things you can do to make people feel really valued. I love that study. That's super interesting. And I've heard similar claims, and I think that's really important. It seems like you guys are doing the right thing there. Let's take a turn to marketing. I know it's so important in client acquisition. How are most of your new clients finding you today? Is it referrals, outbound, digital marketing? How are you growing?
Yeah, it's a good variety of things. For everyone listening to this, there is no silver bullet, and there is no pay money and be able to sit back. We have a digital marketing agency. We're very high on getting reviews and making sure our Google business profile is in the top 3. We're asking for referrals. We have some like email marketing companies that we're paying that have a 98% email deliverability and just blasting out emails. And then all of the owners are also going door to door and letting everybody know what we do and knocking on doors. So it's a combination of everything. I think what has worked the best for us is going to be the feet to the street. Unfortunately, it's the most work, but it's just kind of what's tried and true and proven. And then we actually are starting to get quite a bit of phone calls, maybe like 2 a week or so, from being found on the Google business profile.
Do you have full-time salespeople, or the owners are doing the sales?
We've tried a variety of different things for full-time salespeople. We have like offshored it, done some virtual assistants, and that didn't have great success. So currently today, the owners are the full-time salespeople. And then we have some people that are, every employee within the company is incentivized to sell. If anyone upsells, cross-sells a service, finds a new client, they're all paid as well. So we kind of have an army of salespeople, but realistically, the owners are probably bringing in 75% of the new business.
And from the digital leads, what's the most expensive or least predictable part of lead generation that you find?
Yeah, I mean, lead generation in totality is, I think the average acquisition cost, we got it down to like $254, which for a commercial client with
you get a
lifetime
contract out of
value
it.
I mean, not terrible, but the amount of time and we've done some cheap lead systems where it's funneling in an absurd amount of leads, but the quality isn't very high. So we look at the hard cost of getting in and the soft cost of what that weighs down on the company and how much time someone's spending on that and how many meetings we go to for every close. And so we've really got it nailed down to the highest and best use of our time is the owners making calls, being able to talk about the business at a high level, a little bit of door knocking, asking for referrals. We're in a really fortunate situation by acquiring these companies. They all came with past client lists of between the hundreds and thousands, and then calling our existing client at the janitorial company and saying, hey, did you know we also offer floor care and exterior care? So
And do you have any exercises when you have these big databases? Some of our clients have had a lot of success actually using AI as well, of reactivating past clients or using that entire database. Have you explored that? Because we've heard some really good stories there.
100%. So we use some AI. An example would be is we have Rosie that works with Rainier. And so when you call our phone number off after hours, it's a Rosie the robot essentially instead of a voicemail. And we found that has worked a lot better. She asks what you're calling for. She can gather enough information that when we come in the morning, there's an email at the top of our inbox that has their name, what service they want, kind of the basics of that phone call, and we can call back. And Rosie at the end of her call just offers a discount. Hey, don't tell the owners I gave this to you, but let them know here's the code to get 20% off tomorrow. The thought is when I go on Google and my habit, regardless of what service I want, is I go to the Google business profile, I pick one of the top 3, I call it. If they don't answer, I don't leave a voicemail, I call the next. I'm sure I speak for 95% of consumers when I say that. So by Rosie the robot giving you at least a semi-customized experience and offering you a discount to wait till the morning. The hope is if your house isn't on fire or flooding, that you can wait and give us a chance in the morning. We use Go High Level pretty heavily, so we have a lot of automation, pipeline automations where a new call comes in, there's an 8-day sequence of us email, phone call, text, kind of just blasting them, peppering them for 8 days. At that point, they go into a campaign, and it's a drip campaign for the next 24 months. And so everybody goes through the same system. It keeps us in front of them. And then we have those same campaigns for past customers. There's probably about 4 different ways someone could funnel into one of those campaigns.
Great. And one thing I meant to ask you about the lead generation, and I'm sure it varies per business, but generally speaking, who do you try to get a hold of? Who's typically the decision maker on janitorial decisions?
Ideally, someone with the word facility or facilities somewhere in their title. Office managers could be, owners could be, CEOs could be, but typically I'm finding if it's someone that doesn't have the word facility or facilities somewhere in their title, that it's typically a smaller opportunity. So
they have a lot of gatekeepers, though, that person, right?
I mean, it's hard, and we invest good money into the Zoom Infos, the Apollos, kind of data scraping softwares to get to them. We have different cold call scripts trying to get past the gatekeepers, but yeah, I mean, the gatekeepers is a real thing.
Yeah, no, we hear it all the time, especially the facilities managers as well, because they, and again, some of the success we've heard too is people showing up with donuts for them, to your point. Like that can win.
The nothing replaces that face to face. It's real easy to hang up on me over the phone. It's not that easy when I show up with a really big cookie and a smile on my face for the receptionist, chat her up for a little bit, and then by the way, I have this for the facilities directors, or anyway, I can give it to him personally. It's kind of hard to say no to that.
Yep. And when you look to automation overall outside of marketing for, let's say, quoting, scheduling, feedback, where are you on using automation for once you have the lead or once you have the prospect interested or even current clients?
Yeah, we try to continue to improve upon it, and we rely on it pretty heavily. A lot of it is just through our Go High Level CRM system, but all the way from asking for reviews to our onboarding process for both of our employees and our clients is all done through automations. It's as we continue to scale, it's impossible to scale at the rate we want to scale and have this all be manually done by humans. We take the eMyth, the McDonald's franchise model, and try to apply that across all of the back-end systems as much as possible. We also highly rely on global talent to help us. So we're hiring virtual assistants from primarily the Philippines, but from all over the world to help us with a lot of the tasks that someone needs to manage the automation, or someone needs to do the spreadsheet, the stuff that it doesn't make sense to have our high-level managers spending a lot of time on. And so all of our high-level managers also have an assistant, and that person happens to be global talent. And for anyone that isn't familiar with the concept, we can get really good labor from the Philippines for $5.
We've talked about this. We spent a good amount of time talking about technology, but when you think about trends in the industry, what have you seen change? What do you see coming down the pike over the next couple of years for your business?
Yeah, I mean, without having a magic 8-ball, we locally here the public schools all went back in house. A lot of these big like YMCA's and some of these big gyms are all flirting with the idea of going back in house, and so we're seeing a lot more companies as they're trying to cut budgets. It just seems like cleaning's it's the lowest vendor on their sheet. Hey, who can't clean? It's pretty easy. Let's do this in house, and they're quickly learning all of the unintended consequences of that and all the soft costs of trying to do it in house. Who's going to hire this person? Who's going to train this person? Who's going to hold this person accountable? What's going to happen when they call out? Like all the moving parts of this. It's like we're only charging on average $50 an hour or whatever for every employee we send out there. It's not actually as expensive as it feels as if you wanted to do it yourself. So we're seeing a bit of that. The market is what kind of gave us the idea to offer these multiple cleaning services is something to differentiate ourselves. It seems until a facility director's been doing this for quite a while, year after year, they just keep switching and going to the lowest cost vendor they can get and just keep trying to lower the price down. And after 5 years of going through 5 different vendors, it seems like eventually people wise up and are like, you know what, I'll pay a little bit more to get the right service, someone that communicates well, someone that shows up. As a facility manager, you shouldn't have to worry about cleaning. It should be a vendor that you hire out and they own the cleaning program for you. And so that's what we're really trying to develop, is a program where we own it for you. We report back to you. We have software that lets you know when the cleaners were there, when they left. If you have communications, it goes straight through the software to the employee. So it's creating these programs with mass accountability, above industry standard communications. And if you want the best service, you have to pay for it.
Yep. No, those are good to note and in line with some other founders we've spoken with. One question we always love to ask is this, and again, I think you've touched on some of these during this chat, but we'd love to hear from you if you could wave that magic wand, and it could be anything from the lead generation to the operations, any really part of your business to fix. Where would you could wave that magic wand and fix it tomorrow or in a week?
Yep. Our goal is to get to be a heck of a lot larger, and we want to get there as fast as possible, of course. And so our big focus is the customer acquisition size. So right now our portfolio, the average, if we take all 120 clients just on the janitorial book alone, our average customer size is like $1,283 today. We'd love to get that number north of 2,500. So rather than us dialing for dollars right now, the focus strategy is going after these accounts that are spending $3,000 a month. So that $3,000 to $15,000 is kind of what our sweet spot is. So if I had a magic wand, I would have an insane amount of meetings with companies of that size. And because I don't have a magic wand, we're knocking doors and pounding phones.
That's the way to do it. That is the way. You're going in person, you're doing digital. I mean, it sounds like you're doing all of the right things. Is a part of that too, can you get the average order of an existing client up? Are there more services to add to, you already have them. Hopefully they're happy with you. What's your approach there?
Yeah, so the cross-selling is huge. And we don't even ask people if they want to buy from it. It's part of our package. You get the total facility program with us. So quarterly, we're going to have our quality assurance person come in, and that person is trained to look for floor care that needs to be done and exterior cleaning that needs to be done. And then we just provide them with a quote. Hey, we were there. We noticed this. Here's pictures of it. Let us know if we have the green light. We can get it done next week. And so it's a very, you don't really have the option if you want a quote from us on that or not. It's part of our program, but we're pitching it to them as it's a huge value add. You shouldn't have to be walking around your building looking for stuff like this. Like, we'll keep an eye out for your entire building for you. So we like that, but it's really the recurring revenue. A big part of getting into this space is these companies, when you're done at the end of the day with the business, they all sell for a pretty penny. If you've done a good job, you have W-2 employees, you have good systems in place, the company's profitable, the owner's removed from the day-to-day operation, private equity is licking their lips at these companies. So you can easily sell for a very nice multiple of the company's profit.
Kyle, I think this advice is fantastic. I think, I guess one question just to follow up on that, because I love that. We talk about that. Where do you think you need to be to have private equity looking at you?
If you can so your business is sellable at a couple $100,000 of profit. I mean, if you're running $1 million a year of sales and bringing in 200 to 300K of profit, your business could be worth, $600,000 to $1 million, depending on kind of all the moving parts of it. If you want like true private equity to look at you, they're even dipping as low as $1 million of profit right now. So we're seeing companies that are making $1 million of profit going for, $3 to $4 million.
And for
a 10 million profit, you see people getting 6 and 7x multiples. I mean, literally generational money.
Heard that. And I guess I'd love to hear from you for advice for any of our listeners who, especially maybe even some of the younger founders or new entrepreneurs who are leaving corporate America, who aren't stuck on the shiny penny. This probably falls into the boring business category. What's your advice to be successful in a boring business, I guess?
Yeah, and I would challenge everybody. I think I hear so often, oh man, I wish I could do that. Man, that's so cool that you do that. I wish I could do that. And I would challenge back of how risky is it? If you're only making $80,000 a year, how hard would it be if this fails to 2 years go back and make that same $80,000 again? And how long would it take to replace that income? And is it something you can start on the side? Is it something you can start cleaning at nighttime? Can you start with a friend? Can you just get a few employees and offer them 1099 so they're just contract workers? They already own their business. Like there's ways to make this happen and de-risk the situation. To me, the greatest risk on this world is knowing you're on the wrong path and just staying there. The greatest risk would be taking no risk at all. The riches are in the niches, as they say. These boring businesses, you can turn a 30% profit. Like, they are very, very attractive. Running a cleaning company isn't really rocket science, right? When anything gets broken or is wrong, it's kind of clear to me what it would take to fix it. it is managing a bunch of employees that you're paying $20 an hour. So it doesn't come without challenges. Clients do crappy things to you. Things happen, of course, but there is, no matter what, there's no silver bullet, or we would have all found it already and we'd all be doing it. So if you're willing to roll up your sleeves, put in the work, these home service businesses, these cleaning companies, plumbing, landscaping, HVAC, people love car washes, laundromats, like any of them are gonna have their pros and cons. But I think fast forward 5 years will be the best decision you ever made.
Amazing advice. We really appreciate you coming on Sound Waves today. Tell our friends in the Seattle or Washington overall area how they can find you.
So I'm on LinkedIn, Kyle Boyden, posting facility stuff all the time. And then I don't know my Instagram handle, but you might find me on there.
Amazing. Well, listen, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We'd love to have you back and hear about your progress and your acquisitions and how much you grow in the year 2026. You guys have a lot on your plate, but we appreciate you taking the time today.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Rob.
Cool. Thanks, Kyle. All right,
Have a good
bye.
one.